Always get more than that.
Probably not. Just
How many first,
I'll let you all roll.
Hey, girl. Thank you.
Six minutes.
He's so soft and if that makes a difference to you.
So. You so much.
You're thinking. Tells me it's running out, so I get online and I order us.
We're good. You said so.
Yeah, I think all present and accounted for.
It's your right.
Yes, we have a core.
She's gonna go back.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking of.
And in fact, I ordered out that aggravation, I always have to say out.
But you know, years ago, we had. Hello, how are you? Here.
Sorry, please.
So my lights are in.
These guys are coming.
Well, I don't know about the same guy, but
From.
is that what
Is about the past and then in this room. I mean, it seems. Oh, at our age.
How are you charging so?
We have both.
It's early. If they see, but it goes from there, your story doesn't matter. Well, this they will do it, but I don't.
Maybe the only thing is that we are doing this.
Yes, we were doing.
I have no
Okay,
idea.
how was it yesterday? That's all.
You did that. I also see, rated both. Of course, about overclock, but even so, then we.
No, that's all my school.
Hey, Joe.
Wait, Jill.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Kathy coming?
No, she's not.
We just sort of go down.
You're running for council? Gonna be back on council?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not, I haven't really submitted my paperwork yet.
No, you're
Yeah,
gonna run.
yeah,
I think I know you were there before, I think they should like give you that.
Yeah, I know.
Morgan side by side here.
There are three of them.
You gotta have dinner together.
I know her.
10 o'clock?
My husband says it needs to release, because you're gonna help me. It's a pretty name, just so you know. I know, but I didn't know. That's my name. Yes, girl, I knew Mary Margaret. Mary Margaret's girl. That was an incredible. That was a lot. She died. Oh, she. I was so tough. Mary Madison.
Dennis and.
The one I'm thinking of, like, Harrisville.
They've done away with that great
Oh,
road.
just, you know, it was very,
I couldn't. Oh, yes, you're reading that.
No, I don't.
I'm working.
Oh, here's another one. I don't know if it's married.
Oh, no, she must.
I already this way.
Yeah.
A little state
it would be-
person.
And I know somebody should say this.
That's something.
My son's that's pretty too.
So.
We'll do it well.
What you do is.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Okay, good. There is a dining here on this hallway, that they come away with that, they just. Speaking as we were going to the center. Hold on, let me have the room that we were both in. Both are. I said, well, what about it? Is it? Well, it's stable. But not stable. It's stable. It's not fluctuate. So that's something. I think we should go on there. And see.
So you're the baby and
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys say solve the problem, how did she make sure I did it?
All right. Messages. If she wants to talk about our residents. I think that's just, I think she also knows.
For that.
Right, So I.
Okay, good morning, Woodland Pond. Welcome to August 7th. This is the first meeting of the month for the Residents Council. Mr. Smith normally would be conducting this business, but he's decided he's going to play 18 holes of golf. And he had told us at the beginning of the year he was going to do it, so he's excused. Also, June Finer's doing country dancing up in Massachusetts and she's excused. So we have a quorum. I have no other information. We'll open the floor to our ears. Any comments or anything from our esteemed guests that are sitting with us? Going, okay, we're gonna go into council session.
We accept the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second? Second by Mel. Okay, no discussion, all in favor? Bless you.
All of us?
For that. Okay, old business, Dave wanted me to, oh, I'm sorry, yes. You were here first, so you should go, go ahead.
Thank you.
I think we're on now, yes. Communication sent and received. I received, I sent a message to the chair, the new chair of the board, because I thought it was an ideal opportunity to find out from her, Sally Cross, as to whether or not the monthly reports that I have been sending to the board as the liaison from this body to that body. And she, because I thought, well, maybe there's something more or different or better we should be doing. And so I received the following reply from her. I personally find the brief reports both enjoyable and informative. Most of the board packet consists of much drier, if important, items like financial reports. The liaisons report provides us with an overview of life at Woodland Pond, a different but also important perspective. So that's the extent of my exchange of correspondence with anybody. Nothing in the email as usual.
As usual. Well, good, so you're to carry on and carry over with your reports.
Carry on, it's the right word.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. Okay, okay, so that does that, old business, Dave wanted to talk about the agenda for the August 27th. That's 27, I think it's, is that right? 27th, the last, anyway, the last Wednesday of the month, we're doing the Residents Association meeting. The primary part of the meeting will be a report and the description of the Grove Committee and the Benefit Fund. The chairs of those groups have come together and we put together a nice presentation. The other idea was to maybe supplement the meeting with a update with our new wellness nurse, Liz Elliott, and Annika Epley, who has just joined us as the social work for independent living. Talking with Sarah, they might have to rearrange that, and they may do that at the management Q&A. So they took my act, but we'll figure out something, ladies and gentlemen from the council, for what else to do on that. Or we just do that and that'll be it. Yes,
I'm very excited that you see that as a supplement. And I just hope that they will still have different things to tell us. Let's encourage it,
okay,
building it up.
all right, I appreciate that input. Okay, Michelle will be here at 10:30. Lots of things I think that she wants to cover and for us. Let's start with the review of the council reports. No reports for mental health or welcome. Okay. All right, going down the line, since it's my turn next. The finance committee did meet. We met on Monday. Went through the financial flash report as of June. June and December are two key months for reporting to the board, not to the board, but to the bondholders and to TFS, Department of Financial Services. And the one key metric that we all follow is the days cash on hand. Our covenant is that we have to exceed 125 days. As of June 30th, we had 143 days, which is exceptionally high for us, so that's very good. So we were very pleased to have that report. The other thing for the guests and the council is Terrell Farley, who's our IT manager, approached the committee about bringing a guest speaker to tell and talk to the community about doing mobile banking. That could be banking from your PC, banking from your phone, but the idea of doing online banking, particularly in these days where things are not as secure as they used to be. Anyway, he discussed the outline of what he wanted to do, and the committees endorsed this idea. Dave Roberts presented on behalf of Michelle changes in the renovation and expansion program. I would encourage you, if you haven't been, watch his program at noon at 12:15 on the Woodland Pond channel. he goes into quite a bit of detail, and if you have been following it, one of the items that has changed or starting to look at is because of the wetlands and the area that we can financially involve or develop, they're going to change away from having cottages to what they call a hybrid apartments. And even he disagrees with why it's called hybrid, but that's apparently the way it's been discussed by the contractor or by the architects. Anyway, that has an impact. Instead of having 12 cottages, 12 additional cottages, we're going to have about 44 additional apartments. So the expansion has gone from about 65 up to 90 apartments. So that is going to have an impact, but they're going through that. So as part of the meeting, the council or the review committee, the financial review committee has asked that management supply us with a update of the financials based on this new layout and capacity. And we also review the health center capacity with this expansion. That's all being developed, and that's the report for the financial review committee. Our next meeting, by the way, has been changed. Normally would have been September 1st, that's Labor Day. All agreed we will meet at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, September 3rd. Questions from the council? Yes.
Does that mean there will be 2 structures only of apartments?
I believe that's correct.
And 44, you said, so that means we're slightly lowering the number of people that we're expecting or not?
No, we're increasing the number. The one apartment is like 48 units and the other one will be 42 or 44. I'm not sure exact numbers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so instead of having
I
48.
didn't realize you were talking twice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but again, the you do the his report every Friday, but he won't be doing it this Friday. He's on vacation in Maine. But also management Q&A he runs, does an awful lot of that. Any others from the council? We take questions in the ear session, Joy.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, guests were invited to the finance committee.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, every committee is open to any reason, anytime, except nominating. And I've been told, don't go to the nominating committee. The boss speaks. Okay, let's moving down the line.
Okay, to get back to her point, they ran out of chairs for guests at the financial meeting this last time.
Yeah.
It was very crowded. The benefit fund doesn't meet until later in the month. Library committee met Monday, and the book comp, which I think I might call circulation, was 180. The overdue books for May, they sent out 15 overdue notices, and they've received 4. The front table book for August in the library is We Took to the Woods, and in September it'll be staff picks. In October it'll be banned books. In November it'll be local history, and in December it'll be Persuasion by Jane Austen. It's the 250th anniversary of her birth. Waiting for July, they had 16 was few because there were so many new books. They spent most of the time bringing in the new books and going through them. The pack construction, the library gets 200 users per month. Plus there's a big increase for the large text reader, and some books will need moving for construction, and there's going to be some space organization there. And Jean will talk to Dave Roberts about exactly how that's going to work out when they get into the pack construction. Jean asked for a listing of the members' current responsibilities. She's new, And she wanted to find out what everybody on the committee was doing. And the next meeting is September 8th, also to the Labor Day.
Tom, a correction. 190 circulation for the month of July, not
Okay.
180.
Okay, but I heard 180 at the meeting, okay.
Any questions from the council? Okay, Mel? Mel, do you have any reports?
No meeting.
Physical plant committee, damaged downspouts are being replaced, will be finished yesterday's supposedly. Now, I hope you're not terribly disappointed, but the goat project is dead. It's not gonna happen for various reasons, no one reason,
Well, one big reason.
yeah. So that will not happen. The south storage unit is now empty. Tom says the rearrangement is finished and went well. No final decisions have been made as to how that space will be used during renovation. Probably some offices will have to be down there, but we'll see what the needs are. John Ordner asked about maintenance along Danskin Way beyond Erman Road, and Tom says we will mow the area even though it's not ours. Tom reported that staffing is now complete in his department, which is good. And Tom is exploring the possibilities of replacing shingles on the roof, looking at the various choices that are available. And there was some discussion about installation of solar panels, and Tom said it is not financially advantageous at this time, since all the tax aspects have pretty much disappeared or don't apply to us. That's it.
Questions?
Excuse me, regarding the shingles, are you talking about replacing the damaged shingles or re-shingling the whole roof?
Of the shingles that are getting to be aged, all of them,
All of them, so.
Yeah.
In other words, the entire roof,
yes.
Wow.
that's a major project.
Yeah.
What kind of money are we talking about?
No, it hasn't been stated. He's looking at the various alternatives.
Any other questions? Yeah, okay, here, go ahead. Here,
One comment on that was that they don't even know whether they're 20-year shingles on the roof or 30-year shingles. They have no idea. So, and you just, he knows it might be smart to do it while they still have contractors for the whole project for.
Okay, so with June not here, she did not send me any dining reports or anything on sustainability. Dave mentioned that there was no road report to issue. And the next meeting, there will be an update from the nominating committee. That will attend and give us an update of the status of the candidates that they're soliciting to run for an election this year. Okay, that pretty much takes care of all of those. Council topics list, I sent out and it was attached to the report. Or to the agenda. We basically are looking at the activities committee, which Michelle mentioned yesterday in her talk. The kickoff meeting will happen I guess August 19th. There's been 30 or so interested residents involved with that, so they're going to pull that together. Also, Michelle mentioned last time and yesterday in her talk, and she talked a little bit. There has been a call and the council has agreed to do an update of the last handbook review. And again, if you're interested in participating, it's a very good activity because you get to look at all the various aspects, rules and policies that are published. And they're calling for members of that, and the sign up closes on August the 15th, which is next Friday. The other big push is, you've seen in Woodland Life and in Chanticleer is they have agreed to go ahead and do a capital campaign. The capital campaign is a fundraiser only for the new PAC and information. I see you had your form here. If you haven't received it, I think all the Cubbies got it. And a letter explaining it. So if you haven't gotten this, please either go concierge or stop by and one up. Explains what the purpose is and how it will work. If you have questions today, Michelle would be glad to answer them. And the only other community or topic log that we had on here is one that has sort of been dragging on, and it's now been brought to Michelle's attention that we need to get back and focus on a consolidated communications plan for Woodland Pond. There was some talk earlier this year about Jason and Terrell working on a consolidated system. It's we've not received any updates, so we've requested that they put that on their list. Okay, so that's our topics. At this point, we can sit around and listen to jokes I've got, or I can open up to the floor for a partial ears session. I see a hand up,
Yeah.
that looks good.
I'm just wondering why Carl didn't make a health center report, because our health center committee only met last Tuesday, so he should have a report from the health center committee.
And last Tuesday?
I don't know, I think it was last, not this, I don't know, the council has not met since the residents council hasn't met since our health center committee met, so you should have our committee report. So, we met on the 27th.
Well, sounds like, would it be appropriate if one of you two would like to summarize?
I didn't bring any notes.
Well, just what came,
Here it comes.
whoops. All right, go ahead, Carl.
This is Deathos Pros, just a second. No, not May 27th.
It was July 27th. I think it was 27th.
Okay.
While he's looking, sustainability committee people are here, we can give a short report on that too. Like,
Discussion of the problem of elders speak. How are we today? Sweetie pie is not always
That was-
appreciated.
That was June.
That was a different meeting.
That was June.
Okay, we will keep looking. No, I don't have it.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll send you some, I'll send you our minutes from the meeting, Molly.
Okay, sure, yeah, just again, if, Artie, can you take the microphone to Jill? And then when she's done, we'll give it to Joy for sustainability. Just a quick,
Okay, well, we talked about a couple of things that I can actually recall. I don't have my minutes with me, but we did talk briefly about
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Who's that? Who's that?
Okay, we have,
Margot, please silence your phone, please.
one of the things that we're gonna be working with on in the next couple of weeks is that, the assisted living residents have low participation in the activities that Sue Close and her team put together, and they really work hard to come up with some very creative activities. And they're kind of disappointed at the turnout of the things that they plan. And so Sue Close is doing a survey of the residents in assisted living to try to find out what it is that they would like to do if they're not satisfied with the programs that Sue's coming up with. And also try to find out if there's a way to get them to come out, maybe more personal attached, approaches or something like that. And our committee members are gonna go around and help with taking the survey. We're gonna meet with residents in assisted living and help them complete the survey so that Sue can have a better understanding of how to please them, how to work with them. And we're also, another option that's been working around in our committee, and we thought we were finished with it, but a message from Michelle a couple of days ago indicates that she would like us to continue to work on it. There's been some issues and mainly in skilled nursing and Garden View with family members being a little over involved in the care that their loved one is receiving. And it's causing stress and to a certain degree distress on the staff. And Health Center Committee and Mental Health and Wellness are combining to try to come up with some ways to help that go away, either better communications or possibly have somebody staff like social workers meet with these family members and try to understand what their issues are and help them understand what they can expect for their loved one. So those were the two probably major issues that we dealt with at our meeting last month.
Excellent, and then with the addition of your minutes to our report.
And I will I'll send you the minutes our minutes are already done for that meeting. I'll just send them to you.
Okay, thank you. Would you pass that over to Joy?
Yeah, thanks. For Sustainability Committee, we have 7 task forces that are like subcommittees, and they're chugging along, and you've seen the alternatives to grass happening, so that those are chugging along in a regular fashion. The major theme that's happening now in sustainability is that we're reaching out into the community in a way. So we have a number of field trips happening. And so there are 2 in August and there'll be 2 in October. And so just check your Woodland Life for them, because that's a focus that we're going to be moving into, so that we're going to be going to the compost, where they do the composting in Kingston, and then we're going to be going to the sewage plant and the water plant in New Paltz. So these are some exciting field trips.
Okay, thank you.
You want this back?
Yes, please. Hold it there. Okay. Yes, Yakov.
You mentioned that committee meetings are open to everybody. Do you have a notion why the nominating committee meetings are closed? Is there any reason why their discussions of anything of secrecy or something? Any committee can decide to dedicate the session, a closed session for specific items. But you say, well, all the nominating committees are closed.
That is what's in the bylaws. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what's in the bylaws. I believe it's because of discussions of personalities, traits, expectations, things like that. People that have been on that nominating committee can speak to it if they want. But I believe it's a degree of flexibility that they need, and besides, it's in the bylaws.
Look, I mean, bylaws have to have a reason, and and what you are explaining, I mean, that doesn't make it necessarily that they have to be closed meetings. I mean, by and large, unless I'm totally wrong, reviewing, and informing the candidates what their task is going to be in the council and things of that sort. Or or answering questions. By and large, I don't think that this is such a secret thing.
I think Wayne is on the committee and he has,
I was on the committee last year, and Tom is right, it's there, before you get to a candidate stage, there are things that you discuss about the person, let's say Yakov. He's a good guy, he does this and this, however, or any resident, that's personal and confidential information. So some people get weeded out based on that. You don't want the general public to know that. You're right, that if you explain the role of a candidate, that's different. Then the person has already been selected. But not everybody who runs has, no, I'm saying it the wrong way. Some people who apply to run are not selected. And those reasons should not be public.
I understand that anybody can submit their candidacy independent of the nominating committee will and wishes. So what difference does it make then?
Well, when they submit their candidacy, they go before the entire body and announce that they'd like to run. There's no filtering done. There's no examination of their performance as a resident or with other people.
Then how do you get on the nominating committee if they're gonna decide which candidates run and which ones don't?
We, as a council, request people to put their name in. And there were 5 people put their name in, the council, or the nominating committee was formed. It's an ad hoc committee, it's just formed to specifically do a job, and this particular job is to get candidates for the 26, 27.
So I had to get my name, if I wanted it, I didn't,
Yeah.
I had to get my name to the committee. And then I would automatically be selected for the committee, or whether there was a selection for the committee.
I believe there must be one, I'm not involved in this,
So who, if you've got a nominating committee, who selects the members of the nominating committee?
they do.
But who's they?
Yeah.
Do you know how the nominating committee picks the nominating committee? Members?
Generally,
And
my
then-
experience, this committee appoints chair, and the chair goes out and forms a committee. But in the answer to your question, anybody who puts in their name is automatically at this point accepted. There is no filtering out.
For
Right.
candidates, for the candidates.
Right.
No, I was questioning the
For the
committee.
committee,
I was gonna, who selects the committee?
The person appointed by the chair of the council then goes out and
One-
selects the committee
Uh-huh.
and says, do you want me to be chair? And the committee agrees that that person will be chair.
So the nominating committee,
It's
I'm
fairly
new,
informal.
so you have to explain. So one person that you nominate or select, or who volunteers, or who's appointed, gets to select who's on the nominating committee?
No.
No.
Hello,
yeah,
Go
let
ahead,
Wayne
Wayne.
speak. Wayne's on the committee.
Go ahead.
last year there were 5 people on the committee. All had been on the committee the year before as well, and 3 of those 5 have had health issues, which resulted in there being 2 people left on the committee in the revivified. I mean, the committee doesn't exist after the election for a number of months. So we've now had 2 meetings, and at those 2 meetings, Sue Gilder and I were carryovers from before, and she came up with 3 names, and they were agreeable with me, and we sat with them and met for a couple hours, and then we met in preparation for, the instruction to give all applicants for the council to fill out, a form and to write 150-word introduction, self-introduction, and so on. The procedures are pretty uncomplicated. The meetings are few in number. And I can't remember the details of the handbook, the rules, but what Tom said before rings a bell that says that the head of the committee can suggest names for new additional people for the committee. So the committee has traditionally had 5 people. And now there are 5 of us, and we've met a few times and so on.
But just historically, it's my impression or recollection that the nominating committee primarily is there not to eliminate people, but to bring people in. Because we don't always get the number of people like vacancies. So we have 5 vacancies in a year. Sometimes we'll only get 5 people that are interested, which isn't great. We want like a fair election. Or sometimes we'll only get 4. So oftentimes the nominating committee has been more trying to get people to run. Wayne, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, it's not so much that they're eliminating anybody, but your question is one that we talk about a lot in terms of committee structures. Because there's inconsistency with how committees get formed here, and it's not really procedurally written out. And, in this case, it kind of sounds like it's the farmer and the dell, so the farmer's picking the wife and so forth. There are committees that are like that. The activities committee was handled differently, where people were able to put their names in. That's a brand new committee. So, I mean, I've been an advocate for a long time to put much more structure into how the committees are formed, but I'm not on resident council. So I would be in favor of seeing it be more uniform, but that's something for the council to take up.
Well, and also to go along with it, once the nominating committee reached a critical mass, they sent us the names that they had all agreed, the structure of it, who was chair, who was vice chair, and the council accepted those nominations and proceeded to give them the instructions, form a slate for the 2026-27 elections. Okay, well, welcome.
Carl, do you have something?
Are we coming to the point where we think for a future discussion, we should set some rules for how we want this? This is a subject for the council to take up at some time in the near future, I think. Structuring what the expectations really are. So I suggest we put that on our future topics task.
You're talking all committees.
No, the nominating committee.
Well, I think
All committees.
I don't see why you wouldn't do all. That's your choice, though. I'm putting my nose in where it doesn't belong.
No, if it would behoove you, it'd make it easier. It would make it easier to do it all at once,
No,
no?
we can do all as a separate issue. But this is one that needs attention.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. Visual is too much information. Okay, we've concluded our second year session. We'll go back into meeting session. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
I did briefly talk about the what did I talk about, folks? Help me.
You spoke about
Capital campaign, the handbook, and we wanted to spend some time talking and activities. Did you want to spend time on any of those?
I don't know what you discussed, so I was just going to make sure that we talked about the fact that I mentioned on Tuesday that we are gonna be looking for an ad hoc task force to do the handbook refresh and renew. So any residents that are interested in being on that ad hoc task force, which will have basically a 4.5 month stint, can sign up at Concierge before Friday. And I would strongly encourage residents to participate in that in that task force, because this is where we do our, every periodically, but this will be it'll be 2 years since we did it. This is where all the policies get reviewed, and it's an opportunity to consider if they're appropriate. There are lots of voices in this, but if you're interested in those kinds of things and crafting policy or modifying policy, this is a direct way to do that. I don't know how other CCRCs handle it, but we've always started with resident input. And we're very proud of that. But I think the last time we had a hard time getting people to participate. I think we only had a couple, right?
There were 4 or 5 of us.
4 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. The time before that, it was very hard. It was like pulling teeth. And so, there's a lot of interest in how our policies read. So this is your direct way to have an impact on that. Again, for those that are new, the way the process works is my team reviews the policies basically for factual accuracy, meaning are the dining room hours correct? Are the emergency procedures correct, etc. Simultaneous to that, the task force with one management representative, and in this case, it's probably going to be Lindsay, just to keep the process going and organized, meets to review the entire handbook, and how the committee chooses to do that is up to the committee. The committee wants all of the members to review the entire handbook, or if they want to split it up by pages or policies, however the task force thinks it's going to work best. But at the end of the day, the task force has to have a draft in with their proposed edits, which we will combine with management's proposed edits, then the marked up copy, so that the residents council knows this is the existing, here are the markups, here are the proposed changes for every policy, goes to the residents council for final questions, discussion, and then we try to get it implemented and printed out for January 1st of the next year. So as I discussed, it will be a 4.5 month process, and there will be homework that needs to happen, and I'm looking forward to it.
And the date you mentioned Friday, but I told them April 5th or August 15th.
It is, that's next Friday. I accidentally said tomorrow, right?
Well, you just said Friday.
Okay, next Friday, the 15th, yeah. Are there any questions on that?
I think the process by involving the council in the handbook is important and it's very valuable. But ultimately, the document is a management document, or is it council document, or can you comment on that?
Yeah, Woodland Pond, the community owns the handbook. So the policies that we adopt are collectively contributed to, but it's ultimately our responsibility to adjudicate adherence to the policies. So we come to the policies collectively, but then we enforce them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Should have worn glasses. Let's see.
These are bifocals.
Okay. Nope.
You know what?
The legislative update.
No.
I touched on that quickly.
Yes.
So on my address on Tuesday, I talked about the fact that we have an opportunity before us for me to give regular legislative updates, which is just another way of keeping you all updated and apprised on things as they come up, either at the state or federal level that would directly affect CCRC operations or residents. And I mentioned that at any given time over the last 16 years that we've been open, there has been some form of legislation in the mix under review related to CCRCs in New York. They rarely get any legs. They don't always go anywhere, but it's something that might be of interest to residents. And so in hearing that, I'm happy to give those legislative updates. Where I get them from is I am a member of Leading Age New York, not I am, Woodland Pond is a member of Leading Age New York, which is part of a national organization that is advocate for not-for-profit long-term care and senior living organizations across the country. So they have a specific CCRC cabinet in New York. And so quarterly or more often as needed, our cabinet, which is all the CCRC leadership across the state, gets together. We talk about any information intelligence that we receive on proposed legislation. We get copies of those proposed legislation. We individually and collectively talk about whether or not we think we would like to propose edits to the legislation, and if we do, we work with legal counsel at Leading Age to draft those edits. Oftentimes what happens is we will get wind that there's a particular legislator or something that's introducing a bill. It may go into committee, it may not, it may go from committee into the initial votes. What we will oftentimes do is get a copy of a draft legislation, and we will collectively come up with what we think the proposed edits to it should be, and then we shelf it until it moves to a point where we would actually, where it goes into the register, the state register, which is where you have the opportunity for public comment. So I'm more than happy to provide those quarterly updates as they come forth. And we just need to figure out what the right mechanism for that is. So we can do it in a couple of different ways. We can do it at management Q&A. We can do a special quarterly meeting for it. We could do it on my address. Whatever people think, I'm totally comfortable with any option, and I'm, more than happy to discuss those kinds of things.
And one of the things that Michelle and Dave and I talked about was how interested are you in information like this, and would it be something to do quarterly, half year, or annually? Because it sounds like there's activity, but then it sort of goes into hibernation and sort of comes up. Yes, Joy?
So case in point, there's
Hold on,
Sean Ryan.
hold on a second.
Okay. Sean Ryan from Buffalo has introduced a bill, Sean Ryan from Buffalo has introduced a bill on CCRC Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
I think it's Senate Bill 5980, I think.
We have it.
And is your group making comments on it? Do
Yes.
they know about
We're
it?
done. We're done with our comments on it. We've known about it since January.
Oh, great.
So
I think
it's been through our review and our proposed edits. I actually distributed, another resident had asked me about it last week, which was kind of got my thought process going on this. I'm happy to share those. So we have a marked up copy.
So I think a special meeting, because it could be really important, and
That's
that's
not going anywhere though.
well, not till January,
So-
because the legislation.
It's not gonna go anywhere anyway. So I think that we certainly can talk about it. But this happens all the time. It happens all the time for 16 years. For some reason, this time it's getting more, attention. I'm not exactly sure why. But this bill and sisters to it have been introduced all of the years that we've been open. They never go anywhere. But yes, I am happy to, well, the reason that they haven't gone anywhere is because all of the things that Senator Ryan are proposing in the bill are already addressed through law and reg. And so that's very easy for us to adjudicate. So it's what you'll see if we distribute the comments on that bill. There's another CCRC revitalization bill that did get passed and is on the governor's desk. It's gone to the governor's desk multiple times since 2010 and gotten vetoed every time. You'll see that our comments will say this is not necessary because it's already in Article 4603 or whatever. So there's protections that already exist, but they're just in other reg and law in a lot of the cases. So, yeah, so I mean, it's more process wise how we want to handle this. I'm totally open to doing it however we want to do it and however often the council feels the residents want to do it and what the right mechanism for it is.
I cannot speak for the council, but as you are aware, I mean, we have the Political Affairs Committee, and this falls pretty much within the realm of things that are of relevance to the residents, legal, legislative, and so on. And I think that it would be a good idea to have also, in parallel to that, those updates, because many times, I mean, we only hear about things haphazardly. I mean, something, somebody heard about something. Now, the fact that, I mean, something has not gone or went nowhere, as you say, I am familiar with one legislative effort that I was a member of a committee, a state committee to pass that law. And it took us 10 years to get it to the final vote, and it passed at the 11:55 hour of the day of the finish of the things. And it was so, in that context, I think that we could be proactive and saying, well, let's call, whoever is holding the line for this to happen or not to happen. I mean, so we can have a position.
Well, I
Not
think
necessarily- not-
residents should have a position, but your position is separate and distinct from Woodland Pond's position.
I understand that. So it's not necessarily that Woodland Pond, we have to, you are saying that this organization that Woodland Pond participates has positions and has advocating for or against one of those bills. So as residents, I think it's important that we have a say individually, or, as 15 people got together and we are speaking for this group of 15.
So I don't know how you handle it. I think you should treat this the same way that you handle any legislation that residents want to be involved with, right? So we're focused on the CCRC issues, but there's plenty of legislation that that your committee probably wants to get information out to the residents about. So I wouldn't just focus on CCRC related topics, but if you want to influence residents to raise their voices about any proposed legislation, that definitely should run through the Political Affairs Committee. And I don't know if you do that at all right now and let them know what bills are pending or anything like that.
My comment is that I think you having those presentations would be very useful. So we have that on the agenda separate from the Political Affairs Committee, which then we can also try to bring people for and against. Woodland Pond may have a position because of participating in this conglomerate, but maybe there is people that are arguing the other side of the proposal.
Right, and we wouldn't get involved in that
I
discussion.
understand that.
That would be purely residents.
But
We
to
have to
have
be very
that,
careful about that.
but to have that connection and to be aware of what's going on, I think it's useful. So we don't depend.
That's why I'm offering to do the meetings.
I'm for it.
I was the one that really found that this legislation existed. And I was kind of puzzled that none of the residents seemed aware of this. And yet Woodland Pond had and the group that represents Woodland Pond, Leading Edge, had come out and published something like this, oppose for this legislation.
We didn't issue that.
Well, it's not you, but
Right.
it said, Leading Edge said that that it represented all of the CCRCs.
And I've never seen that document. So that was a surprise to me because we don't reject the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea where that came from or when they issued it, but we did not reject the bill. We proposed edits and they're sitting on the shelf right now until it advances. And there's no expectation that it's going to advance. Senator Ryan is running for the mayor of Buffalo and there's no co-sponsor on this bill. So we are ready if it does come forth. But in terms of that document, I had never seen that before. And I actually take exception to it because we do not reject it as a cabinet. We accepted it and proposed edits.
I think people should understand why it's important. The Bill of Rights, as proposed by Ryan, made it such that the board had fiduciary responsibility to us as well as to the bondholders. And I think that that's a very good principle because of the Long Island failure and other things where the board can decide to use essentially our money to promote projects that the residents might not be in favor of, or to do things that we might not be in favor of. I'm not saying that that's happening here. This is no way an indictment of anything about Woodland Pond. What I'm saying is that it's important for the residents to know this legislation was posed in March. And I think I was the first resident who was in any way aware of it, and yet,
That's not true.
no.
There are others that are aware.
Well,
Yeah.
because the one, anybody that I asked, no one, I couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because and I think it's because, so part of what you're bringing up and indicating that the board has any kind of leeway in terms of how resident funds are utilized is not correct. It's all driven by law and reg, and I think that's why this bill in particular is troublesome, because it's raising a specter of problems that don't exist because there's already protections under law and reg. But the whole point of me bringing this up is that this is something that we should be actively discussing as a resident group if there's an interest level. This is the first time in 16 years that it's come up as a level of interest, and I'm more than happy to make a mechanism for that.
I think anytime any new legislation comes up, certainly the residents should be involved if Woodland Pond or a group representing Woodland Pond comes out in favor of it or against it.
Yeah, so we should definitely think and talk about that, because Leading Age comes out with a position on every single legislative matter that comes before it. So there are a lot of things that come before it that don't necessarily apply to Woodland Pond. So I think we will come up with a way that works best. What I really want to focus on is that we have a mechanism that I can provide to this group, the quarterly updates of what's coming out of our working group. So if we work in a quarter and propose revised language to this bill, for example, I would announce that to you and then provide copies of what the cabinet has come up with. So we probably would be well served to get a baseline meeting scheduled, first meeting, even though there isn't a quarterly cabinet meeting, so that I can make sure that we're announcing to you where the different pieces of legislation are sitting. And right now there's really 3 that I think are of interest primarily, which is the Resident Bill of Rights that was proposed by Senator Ryan and is stalled. The CCRC Revitalization Act, which passed through the full legislature and is sitting on the governor's desk, and the MAID bill. I think those are the 3 that we would focus on for the baseline meeting, so we can provide an update as to where the legislation actually is sitting in terms of within the legislature. And if the CCRC cabinet through Leading Age has taken a position on any of that legislation, what that position is, and set a baseline. We're gonna have to make it very clear as we go through this process that if there's a debate that wants to be held on any of these topics, that needs to be run by the Political Affairs Committee, and it has to be resident focused. It's not Woodland Pond's position, it's just gotta be how the residents do. And then what you should be thinking about is how do you distribute the information of how residents can opine on these legislations at the legislative level, because there's email you can send and phone calls. So you can work on how you want to help with resident advocacy. But we can provide updates and go from there. I'm happy to do anything that you think is right.
I'll let Larry speak, then we'll close.
The question, one of the questions is whether this should be a regular, quarterly, or some other regular opportunity for you to make these presentations. It seems to me that much of what would be discussed is dependent upon the legislative calendar, which is by no means, there is such a thing as the legislative calendar, but it's more or less active depending on where in the year you happen to be. So I think being prepared to give a presentation whenever it seems important to do so, rather than saying it has to be March, June, or whatever.
Well, that could get a little bit tricky though, because then we could potentially be having meetings, because some of these things change by the week when session is in. So no matter what's happening, we're having a quarterly cabinet meeting and we're always doing some kind of work towards advocacy of some sort. So if it's a month or a quarter where we're not working on any new legislation that's proposed, we have different work groups, for example, working on regulatory proposed regulatory revisions, proposed procedural and policy revisions. It's just the way that we interact with the government in terms of, you know, as an organization. So I think no matter what, there's always gonna be updates.
So then it sounds to me as if you have much better sense than any of us as to when would be appropriate. So
Yeah.
quarterly sounds good to me, but you know, what do I know?
So are you thinking a distinct meeting for this topic?
I would think so.
Let me. Find I had asked everybody what your opinion was, would you like to hear about this in what period of time? I didn't want to get into debate about what we needed and stuff like that. I would like to do this, to try to draw this to a close. I will accept and offer you and or anybody you would like to come to the Residents Association meeting on the end of this month, on the 27th. And for the people that aren't here and for the community, explain these three bills, where they are and how you, being on this committee, it's not a committee, it's a
Cabinet.
cabinet, and how that impacts us and how you keep your finger on the pulse, and have that as the kickoff meeting. And then as Larry suggests, as things change, I mean, you know, every day there'll be a change, but if there's any significant movement, do it in either a Q&A or do it from one of your talks.
Okay, that's
I
totally
think
fine.
trying to make this a standing thing where you're every Tuesday at the first week of the month talking about it, I think is not gonna be very productive, because people won't understand it. But if we start with, here's the baseline, here's what's out there, address the situations and what could be there. Let's do that. Okay?
That's totally fine. I think you're right on that. That's how we've handled the MAID updates as they've gone out. Because that's gotten a lot more traction and airtime. We can do the others the same way.
I would like that.
Okay,
So
perfect. So I put that on my calendar for the 27th at 3 p.m.
Correct.
When will you want me there for this piece of it though?
Well, we have two presentations from Rove and Benefit Fund that will take 10 minutes each,
So plan on 3:30?
please.
Okay, you got it. All right, good. And then we'll take feedback on the mechanism to see if residents want it a different way. And then
Yes.
political affairs can do whatever you want to do from here with this as well.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
We talked about the status of the MAID survey questions that we had. Which was probably a couple
Yes.
months ago now.
Yes.
So I do have the results that came in from that survey. So I'm gonna tie that discussion into the discussion on the 28th and be able to provide a summary of the responses from the residents. And we'll go from there on that.
Okay. And for MAID is,
Medical Assistance in Dying Act, which has been batted around at the New York State level for decades and finally has passed one of the
Both.
It's through both.
It's on her desk.
It's on the governor's desk also. Okay, that one we weren't sure about. So it finally got through. That one's really important for residents because especially important for residents to understand, and that's why we talk about that one on a regular basis. Because there are certain things that the law requires, but there are certain things that fall within a gray area related to the provision of MAID, for example, in skilled nursing. So New York State may allow for MAID to occur, and very, very long story short, you still have to have capacity to make your decision. You have to have a terminal diagnosis. It has to be signed off on by 2 physicians. You have to physically be able to take the medication that will end your life. So there's a lot of provisions to it. There's other things in there, but that's basically it in a nutshell. the medication still has to be handed to you by someone. And if you're in skilled nursing or assisted living or garden view, your medication is handed to you by a member of the Woodland Pond staff. There is medical precedent and legal precedent that says that if I am ethically opposed to a medical treatment, I can opt out of that being provided. But that Woodland Pond has to make someone else available to do that. So we have to work on operationalizing how this will work. Because there's certain employee protections. There's a question within the skilled nursing environments right now about if a medical director is the person that's philosophically opposed to it, does that mean the medical director can shut it down for the entire facility? So a lot of these logistical things are being worked through, and that's why I understand the governor hasn't advanced it yet. I believe she's in favor of it. That's the gist that I get, but she has not come out, from what I understand, she has not come out vocally either way on it. I don't know if anyone's heard differently. But there are many advocates for me here at Woodland Pond. There's been a lot of discussion for it over the years and alternatives to it. It's been an active discussion here for many, many years. So I know it's of interest to the community.
This will fit in well with
Yeah,
our
I think it'll be
discussion.
very good.
Excellent, good timing.
Okay, is there anything else for me today?
No, I was just gonna give you an opportunity to reiterate what you said yesterday about the capital campaign. We showed, if you got this form and everything, do something with
The
it.
most important thing for us so that we can close this down one way or another by the end of September is that we get the commitment forms back. Whether you're doing $0, $1, $7 million. Please just get a form back to us, even if it says anonymous, because we know how many we've distributed. And we want to make sure that we get a decent representation back by August 31st. Right now, we only have 6 back. Just not most of them. It's halfway there, at least.
But
So,
it's,
yeah.
it is important because it does change how we would be doing things here, I think.
Yeah.
So,
So, and we appreciate that. Anybody that has any questions on that, you can let us know. There have been some people have asked, how do I get some more financial advice? We want to do this or we want to do that. And we've given those indications. Jakob and Carl. both
I
have-
misheard that number. You said how many came back already?
We have 6.
6.
Yeah. I mean, it is open till August 31st, and I know some folks have come to us and said, we're definitely giving something. But we're working with our financial advisor to figure out, how we're doing it or how much. We know we have commitments, from the board members and the staff. We just haven't gotten the forms in yet, so. I just need to keep shaking the trees, make sure everybody gets a form back into us, even if it's zeros, and says anonymous. Because it just helps us to make sure we're advancing the process.
Statistically, you say meaningful number of people responding. Are you counting couples as 2 or 1?
Yeah, good question.
We only gave 1 form to couples. We didn't give duplicate forms. So we handed out 1 to every independent living resident, cubby, 1 to every assisted living resident by hand, none to Garden View, and to those residents in skilled nursing that are deemed to have capacity legally based on their medical status, and we keep that list current. It's in process now of going to individual appeals are going to the families of residents that have passed within the last 5 years, plus residents that died beyond that period of time that were heavily involved in the arts and did things like Performing Arts Center, but I'm doing individual appeals to those people. And we're trying to work on getting that into a digital format that can go out to the entire listserv, which is all of your families, all of our stakeholders, et cetera. So there is still some distribution, but just in terms of the paper copies that have already been distributed, that's what I'm focused on getting back right now, because that's how we know how many of those went out. It was roughly 300 altogether. No, 250.
okay,
Any other things for me today?
right, very, very informative. Thank you, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
helping me on the 27th.
And I hope all of you sign up to be on the resident handbook ad hoc committee. Because this is when you can use your voice.
Excellent.
we can also delete some of the policies maybe, or add some more. We can have 100-page handbook.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, I have no new business to discuss. Do want to be sure everybody is going to be at the bank at 2 o'clock today. Carl will be interviewing Sally Cross, our new chair of the board of Woodland Pond, board president. And then in the 24th, tomorrow we'll be interviewing Brent and Ronnie Sue Jaffe for the mental health as well.
21st. It's Thursday, the 21st.
It does say the 24th here, but yeah, yes, you're right.
That's right, it's 14 days. Yes, okay. All right, but anyway, that next council meeting after that, 21st. Okay, so we had Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to interject, Sally Cross, who's being interviewed this afternoon, has in the past been the president or chair or whatever, the CEO of the Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley, which is, as I understand it, going to be the organization that holds the whatever the funds are for our campaign. In any case, whether that's true or not, she does have extensive background with fundraising. And so I would like to suggest to Carl that you, among the questions you bring to her, would be those that would be appropriate for us to learn more about in terms of fundraising.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't believe we need another ear session. Thank you. Okay, no executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, Evelyn and John. The meeting is ended. Have fun. See you at 2 o'clock at the back.
I'll just give you an example. We had a total of almost 15 people that we were considering it. I'm on the nominee. Oh, okay. And we all went through the directory, came up with names of people that we all might be interested in. Down the list, and we bring them up and we handed them out to the various members of the committee. And each of us had like 3 people in contact. We got 8, and now since then one of them dropped out. So we now have 7 people on the nominating committee. Yeah. I think it's 2 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was, I had 5 people to contact and I got 2. And the other ones, I didn't even get the sentence out. No. This is not.
The money, I think.
It's, you're done with meetings.
I mean, we can't get whacked.
Because people here are done with meetings. I mean, one of the people I asked.
It's 5.
It's 5 o'clock.
We need your.
I mean,
Yeah,
It was 4 openings and 4 people.
there's none for planning conservation.
No,
That's what I was going to do.
the nature of the elections.
We emailed Bob that got ballots for my question.
Right. I don't go to every one. Hey.
There are no board meetings in July or August. When I continue, Soldier on and provided a monthly report. Who gets it? Send to Lindsay. Lindsay, I provided, I make it up. Send it to Lindsay, is the intern, distributes it how, in whatever manner, and told me. We want reports. But he will send you the report was I finally get, what did I certainly have not yet. Generally, those reports about how Lindsay, Friday before, whenever the next board meeting. And those tend to be later in the month. So often going to a case, for example, in August, whenever I cross it, I will send to you until September. Very late August. It probably wouldn't go into either minutes.
Started.
No way I'm gonna send you something that the board has to proceed.
Recorded on this. He's not making it on
Then you wait for that. But I'm a little hesitant to do that, because you also.
But we had our. Wiring.
Yeah. But it wasn't earlier. Earlier in the year, I will run 5 days.
It's true.
It's a complication.
It was my.
That you be-
Late the afternoon. Well, I been watching them. Gloria is traveling around. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
You know, the fun was believe that she was not. I think what to do.
Yeah, well, I was up with him. You know, I mostly.
Don't send it.
That's the big thing, but I still have space. Until the other one weeks ago, I sent it to the.
There's only.
Draft of it. Usually a day or two before I had to send it to Lindsay. If there's any old up till date. That is always
subject.
fine. Because
I have a whole.
keep up with the work.
Understand human life is very serious.
Reasonably well, again, it was.
Okay, you're bird watch.
We're bird watchers, yes.
We are all.
Oh, are you? Do you need a list? Just have a list.
Yeah, I know.
The reason, you want to say.
She's not.
Yes.
We don't.
Yes.
I know. So they were.
We are so alive, and it's getting still, right? It's there's not a bird watch. She wants to. Yeah.
You know, and it was not like, you know, small stakes and everybody small stakes. Then you're going to back to. This is it's like it was.
You'll find on the board.
I'll bring it on.
Great.
Oh, right. That's bringing that up. How did you just search it?
Say distractful, but every verse. Because I found out that you're interested in.
No, not.
But
That's no proof. And somehow I was looking for it.
It's in Florida, we're down there.
Well,
You know,
one of my.
year.
I have.
Sadly, is a long.
See that.
For the most part,
It's from, it's a huge lot. We're probably over.
Part of the water.
Well, things.
We could do that, yeah, he's much better,
Nobody.
he's much better
Keeping
at,
us off everything.
than I am, but I'm.
That's very
significant.
Anybody else here?
Well,
She said specifically that the committee. that she
Covers
is
a
in.
lot of.
I don't know what.
Very-
What do they?
Highly-
Concerns. Sounds very important.
I don't know, they come out with something like this where they put this thing on top.
No means the fucking news. And I will do it. I know that because in this, in many cases, not to make them.
You know, you have to rescue.
Well, that's the truth.
Nobody got.
So our.
Like before, the done.
And we would go back and go.
We didn't do that for some reason, didn't know that, or behaved, it didn't matter, it didn't harm them.
Right.
Whereas. And you know.
So they have.
Virtually.
Great, great place.
Ill effects.
Much.
You discussed it. It's got on the front of the crisis on the know something about it. They were gonna come up
Well,
with.
one thing.
They were really.
Pretty good. I'd love to go see that.
It's, you know.
About this thing.
In the middle of the night.
Well,
It says,
The-
his research says that she does.
Yeah.
It was on.
Never seen
It's. So it's the size of the interviews.
everybody.
And it's really good to have it blind, just had it, some white,
Really, really.
really white, red sand. And it has a bump here. And there have been two, we have
We
been.
suppose that I extended that.
So she know about it.
You know,
But she will.
yeah.
That's why I say it's a good idea.
I guess in some different perspective, being in assisted living.
It's one thing.
And I was at that, in fact,
They don't fly.
at
It's
the
safe.
buying a bottle of water.
Right.
Every resident, I'll be lost, and you know, these back in, I'm sure it's like
Farmers and spread them and maybe, but I. So, yeah,
That's.
the candle.
Some right about it a lot.
They each have.
Somehow ends.
No, it's the birds, you have the bird.
Garland?
Yeah.
Sure.
Often.
So we know what we hear, and we don't see it.
Management was a leadership is there.
We would gladly help.
Steady.
We were told that you always have policies and procedures, don't do anyway. That's what you should be.
Time to go.
Perfect.
Right.
It's not how.
Yeah.
The bird, you know. You would totally does it water.
I'll say, I'll say, they would say, yeah, you can communicate this way. I think the state should discuss.
They ask.
That's what we say.
They.
You would be.
Okay.
They call. To live. Yeah.
Or
Within a few hours.
Now, this job that was contracted.
Right.
So you're trying to sell it, which
There
means you
is-
year round?
They.
We might be, oh yeah, we'll be here.
Anticipate.
We hope.
Oil water.
It was on the market, nothing was selling.
We talked about, there's a
People don't
place
wanna
that
be there.
take it.
I don't wanna be there. Canadians don't wanna, they don't wanna be there, the Germans don't wanna go. I mean, what?
This is the one last time.
Yes.
Had a water.
It's very close.
They discovered they could do this.
We lived in water crisis, maybe
4 years ago.
It's another
2020.
We lived in Pensacola.
Just before the onset of COVID.
Yeah,
And there was a problem with
Right downtown.
fuel spill, which is
Fabulous.
Bill's.
We loved it.
Yeah.
The boy went to seminary and we thought we were going back,
Yeah.
but they didn't have a job for him.
Okay, 2
So
questions.
you were in a high rise right on.
Triple A.
He's lost.
He
Not going into correspondence, right?
Yeah, right next to the farm.
We didn't say anything about.
So, but our side.
Well, we have, they changed the
But,
Okay.
Ernie go.
September first.
We're not on TV, are we?
No, yeah, not much.
Yeah, well, actually,
That's it.
So, yeah, we went, right,
First
would you
meeting
consider trying to do a
September
book?
will be the fourth.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
and when you're gone, you're probably back with spring migration.
but.
But she doesn't think there's any group here.
I don't think
in
there's
Ulster
any
Bath.
Oh, yeah, there is, well, the group that does it is,
I've been trying to go.
the one,
Well,
not
maintain, not like, she's way worse.
no, it's Waterman's.
He's convinced me that's the case.
Well,
Email address, just next to it is, I have not.
I believe so.
But
And-
John Burrow, is that with the house?
Yeah.
That's it.
I counted last night, I did not check.
One behind them.
Yes, that one.
There's one up in the house.
Yeah, this is called.
That's where you came up
It's right next to that side. But that group, I had worked with.
I'm just kidding.
They all.
But they have their own road trip.
Liaison.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I wear.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Present time, I wear two hats, it's just three,
It's very flash.
that you're going to be.
That we had,
So I'll make it official with it, so.
Okay.
and he was interested in her.
Now, the other question is, we didn't pick anybody or ask for anybody to represent.
But they're Molly and Mike.
Represent the council, the
No.
handbook revitalization.
I don't know that we need to have.
We tried, as I said, we have some extra
Well, we
binoculars,
did it.
so someone didn't.
Couple of years ago.
Couple of years ago.
You're gonna teach people.
Cameron.
Well, we don't, basically, we've had to do that on the boardwalk when we work, because people from out. And then we were in Pelican Bay, which is where I live, we started.
Would have gone a lot faster.
And the basic was how to use their binoculars, so. On fish build up. You see something over there, and you go down here and you go.
I think.
I know, I didn't.
I know, but that's what
Really
really
counting on
trying
it.
to.
Council will.
I wanna go out with somebody who's something about
Well, that may not be, so,
Well, we don't.
but I told her about the geese. that-
Which means that
They're called, what are they called?
They're Chinese.
January
Chinese.
one, we're gonna see it.
Well,
Actually, I.
because they,
that's kind of
we,
like,
they can interbreed with,
Once a cow.
the, Canadians.
City.
I have other geese.
I.
Yeah, big swans, I don't know.
It's not a
if they're
bylaw.
involved. Swan should.
Okay, but
They-
it is.
It's fun to the only swans there.
We should give them
Yeah, they're the only ones
at least
that are.
3 weeks, 4 weeks,
States.
putting it out,
But,
this is what's gonna be done.
they're not really in the same genus
Horse
as, Canadian geese, because they're on,
don't like,
but they can
what's wrong
interbreed,
with it,
so.
and those will be reviewed.
And they're flightless,
Those changes
the
from
fruit.
that
She said.
and
The fruit, Chinese.
I'm sure.
with, this is what
I don't
the
know.
council agrees is a viable.
Oh, they
Well,
got.
There's no farm.
Within,
but
within,
then-
say,
Yeah, last.
Final
But we
copy
haven't,
be
right, there's no
public-
farm nearby for them to.
said, will go out.
Well, if you think about it,
Okay.
I probably need my head to think of.
local resources that you already know about.
Yeah,
So,
Grasslands.
I would do it.
National, oh, that's a neat place.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Manny Beach.
My position is, both on this council.
It's a national.
On the board.
Well, it's like a shit.
And how many?
It's a
Well,
former.
it's like anybody, I have only
And they
24
just let it
hours. So
It's just
my problem, it's shocking to hear that.
So you get a lot of sparrows.
I like to get out of here as much as I can.
We like to, and then, I think, was that part of.
spent a lot of time in the sun, and so therefore, getting involved in the committees here, boards, not what I really wanna do. But this last revision, I had just taken over the chair of.
The place with the wood guns.
And there was some big items in the present. I mean, directions to them, that went to.
We always, we say that we don't usually go on that trip because it's this long and, but there's still so many wood ducks there.
That's.
I mean, that's another thing.
It's time and measurements.
Only agile people.
Yeah.
And she said.
We might have to think of places in the boardwalks.
In terms of a handbook,
We wouldn't go to that.
I was happy to hear, I heard that Lindsay apparently is gonna be.
But we could go back.
We will get things done.
Yeah. Been on the walk yesterday, which
To me, I think
saw the hair.
Lindsay's role would be to.
Nobody else.
No one else.
Sit there and say, this policy, every procedure, whatever. It's got.
Lost by everything.
Yes.
Saw a river otter there.
She says.
And then, well, birds was, there were,
They haven't sent it to us, but this was an opportunity.
yeah,
To put those.
there were, yellow warblers, I think,
Now, get
were, there's a,
involved.
certainly,
So this is all my question.
bullfinch,
Take one book out of the library. He will never see.
there was a hairy woodpecker that was heard, I think. So.
But all I'm saying is
Already left.
right
No, we
Yeah,
never
now-
saw. I didn't believe it, because we were
I
5 years ago,
believe
we were
it or
in the
not,
same
well,
place,
you had
at the same time.
Something.
Definitely.
My concern is,
Earlier.
You
see,
know, the indigos.
there might be some.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, in Minnewaska.
Between the policy here.
But I haven't seen it.
We have
10 pages later,
when
what
we
it
was
says
before
there.
and our son lives there now, it's right.
We try to go through this.
That's there,
So
so.
neat.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they're
So,
so, I don't
that's
understand why
the
those
thing about criminals.
So let's go there.
Would be really hard.
Right, but-
There's so much more everything coming on.
But the indigos were around, the gold age, of course, always
Always
like there,
I understood this,
but,
well, Dylan,
yeah, no, this was.
How fast?
Yeah, and I think.
you asked us
we
for
could
the
probably,
Yeah.
And it's
It's silence.
kept that silence, you know, and
we got what, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 20, and then found it with an outing.
Yep.
Oh, yes, that's used.
Yeah.
I would be real happy with my second knee surgery. October, so September.
So the first one was so splendid, I gave her some.
I mean, I said one.
I had one,
that nothing to do.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
it's
all
not-
of that stuff.
I can't walk up and downstairs
And
comfortably,
the other
but I
one
can
is
walk.
this.
And your, the knee, there she goes, that was great.
She was sure great, they've got something that's.
What was the last?
This is gonna be your right hand.
I was told it had been simplified, there are new forms and.
Your name's Mary.
Mary? Well, again, I should come somebody. December, we had a whole form on procedures for any artwork,
Right.
and including that form that you're supposed to sign, giving up the liability. It was real simple, you just signed it.
Yeah.
And I thought it went through administration, and all of a sudden, they're sending out stuff to all the homeowners. Back